The movie starts with a girl named Sophia playing ice hockey with her team. They work together, and Sophia scores a goal, helping her team win the game. After the match, Sophia's parents, Santo and Ingrid Gruber, are waiting for her in the parking lot. They are very proud of Sophia, so Santo decides to reward her with an off-road trip. Sophia is excited when she hears this, and after dropping Ingrid off at home, she and Santo drive into the forest in a jeep. They enjoy the beautiful forest views and even take a break by a lake before heading back. While they are there, Sophia asks her dad if they can take a picture together. But her dad, who doesn't like being in photos, says no. Just before they leave, Sophia secretly takes a picture of her dad and posts it on social media. Little do they know that a man from Santo's past, Don Angelo Elbiano, would use a facial recognition tracking system to find him and his family through the photos Sophia posted online. A few days later, Santo goes back to work as a lumberjack with his brother-in-law Patrick Ruber. Unfortunately, their saw breaks, so they have to stop working. Patrick suggests they fix it the next day, but Santo insists on repairing it right away. In town, he asks Patrick to pick up Sophia, who is practicing ice hockey. Hearing this, Patrick agrees and quickly goes to pick up his niece from her ice hockey practice. When they get home, Sophia runs upstairs to her room while Patrick stays downstairs talking to Ingrid. Suddenly, two men enter the house and kill both Patrick and Ingrid. Upstairs, Sophia becomes their next target, so she runs into the forest, which helps her escape. Later that evening, Santo comes back from the city and is horrified to find that his wife and brother-in-law have been killed. Soon after, Sophia returns home, crying and upset, asking her dad to call an ambulance and the police. At that moment, Santo realizes that his old enemy is behind the attack, so he grabs Sophia and leaves the house immediately. They go to an old empty building, where Sophia keeps asking her dad to call the police and report the murders. But Santo refuses because he fears the police might arrest him. He hasn't told Sophia that he used to be a hitman. Don Angelo, the man behind this attack, was Santo's enemy because Santo had killed Don Angelo's son some time ago. Don Angelo was a powerful mafia boss in Italy and owned a bank. When he found out his men had killed the wrong person, he ordered them to correct their mistake by finding and killing Sophia. Sophia is still upset with her dad for not calling the police. Santo tries to calm her down and finally confesses his past as a hitman before he married Ingrid. Sophia is shocked and can't believe that her dad had such a dark past. After telling Sophia about his past, Santo begins planning his revenge on the people who killed his wife and brother-in-law. He gives Sophia a cell phone for her safety, telling her to use it only to contact him. A while after her dad leaves, Sophia, wanting to escape, uses the phone to call her boyfriend Hakim, asking him to pick her up. But Don Angelo's men trace the call. Meanwhile, Santo finds one of Don Angelo's men, Vuso, and questions him about the killers. In exchange for medical help, Vuso gives up the names of two hitmen hired by Don Angelo. However, Vuso is left badly injured after giving up the information. Hakim, rushing on his motorcycle after Sophia's call, meets her at the old building, and they quickly leave together. On their way, they encounter a car with assassins sent by Don Angelo. Santo returns to the hideout but can't find Sophia, making him worry that Don Angelo's men are after her. Meanwhile, Sophia and Hakim are trying to stay ahead of Don Angelo's hitmen, who recognize them. As Hakim rides his motorcycle into the forest, one of the men in the car fires a shot, causing them to crash. Sadly, the shot kills Hakim. Sophia fights back but is eventually caught and forced into the trunk of the car. At the same time, Santo arrives and takes down the two hitmen, although he gets injured when one stabs him in the stomach. Despite his wound, Santo moves Sophia to a safer place, especially since she is now wanted by the police as a suspect in her family's murder. Later, they go to a supermarket. Sophia goes downstairs to buy medicine for Santo, who has gone into a public restroom to treat his stab wound. Meanwhile, at Don Angelo's house, his second son, Michel Elbiano, doesn't want revenge because he thinks it could hurt their banking business. He believes that keeping the business running is more important than seeking revenge. Don Angelo is angry because he expected Michel to avenge his older brother who was killed by Santo 20 years ago. Disappointed in his son, Don Angelo turns to his friend Ferrario to help find Sophia and Santo using surveillance footage in Milan. Meanwhile, Santo and Sophia have arrived in Milan and decide to hide in an empty house for the night to avoid being easily found by their enemies. Unfortunately, Santo's stomach wound worsens and becomes infected. This forces Sophia to go out and look for help. she eventually finds a woman who works at an illegal clinic for abortions. Sophia asks for help, but the woman keeps refusing. After Sophia offers a lot of money, the woman finally agrees to help. Santo is taken to an underground clinic where he receives treatment that saves his life. When he wakes up, he apologizes to Sophia for the problems caused by his past actions. The next day, Santo's condition is improving, but they are found by Rudy Casara, a hitman hired by Don Angelo. Rudy rushes into the clinic to kill Santo, but Santo, despite being hurt, manages to outsmart and beat Rudy. Outside, Sophia is heading to get her dad when she is suddenly held at gunpoint by another assassin. Hearing the gunshots, Santo quickly runs upstairs and shoots the man, saving Sophia. After this, Santo realizes that Don Angelo will not stop hunting them, so he decides to take action against Don Angelo before he can hurt Sophia. From then on, Santo starts training Sophia to defend herself in case she is attacked. One night, Santo and Sophia talk about their dream of going to Africa once they are finally free from the hitmen chasing them. The next day, following their plan, Sophia goes to Don Angelo's bank to gather information and sends pictures to her father. Santo's plan is to kidnap Michelle to force Don Angelo to give up. After looking at the photo sent by Sophia, Santo enters the bank area through the parking lot. He knocks out a guard to make it easier for him to reach the top floor where Michelle's office is. At the same time, Sophia sets off the bomb her father had made to get everyone out of the building, making it easier for Santo to move. The plan goes well as Santo reaches Michelle's office and takes him hostage. He then brings Don Angelo's son to the parking lot where Sophia is waiting. They fight off several guards who try to save Michelle, but Santo and Sophia manage to escape with him. Soon after, Santo and Sophia meet at their secret hideout. Santo promised Sophia that he would end her suffering. Meanwhile, Don Angelo received a picture from Santo showing Michelle being held captive. Santo told Don Angelo that if he wanted Michelle to be safe, he needed to confess his crimes in front of the media within 24 hours. If Don Angelo refused, Santo threatened to hurt Michelle. Ferrario, who also knew about the kidnapping, tracked Santo's phone, which led them to an old abandoned station. Meanwhile, Rudy and Don Angelo's men rushed to the station to confront Santo. When they arrived, they found Santo's parked car but couldn't find Santo himself. They began checking the car and suddenly, Santo fired from a hidden spot using a sniper rifle to take down Don Angelo's men. Rudy and the others panicked and hid behind Santo's car, not knowing there was a bomb planted there. When the bomb exploded, Santo took out Rudy's men. Rudy, the only one left, searched for Santo, who attacked him from behind. Santo cornered Rudy and told him that Don Angelo would never confess, even if it meant losing his own son. After hearing this, Santo quickly dealt with Rudy. He then said goodbye to Sophia, as he had decided to go to Don Angelo's house to end everything. When Santo reached Don Angelo's grand house, he easily defeated all the guards. He snuck into Don Angelo's room and strangled him with a rope. Meanwhile, many police officers surrounded the house, ready to arrest Santo. He calmly walked out but was met with a barrage of bullets from the police. At the same time, the police found the empty house where Sophia and her father had been hiding and arrested Sophia as well. A few days later, Sophia, seen as a troublemaker, was sent to prison where she met Michelle. Michelle told Sophia she wanted to help her as a way to make up for Santo's death. However, Michelle was lying. After meeting Sophia, Michelle met with Ferrario in a car and asked him to kill Sophia with a rope, just like Santo had done to her father. In the final scenes, Sophia looked at a photo of her family and decided to escape from prison to get revenge on Michelle. When Michelle heard that Sophia had escaped and entered her office, she was shocked to see Sophia already sitting there. Sophia acted friendly at first but then suddenly stabbed Michelle, and the movie ends. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.